So let's talk about the ecosystem and the value chain on the buying and planning side, right? Because you make the comment about, your clients are brands, but tell us about how you partner with agencies, right? Specifically, the value of private exchanges in this, not just in the ecosystem holistically, but at a point in time where we are in maturation, the value of private exchanges in accelerating the industry and what that dynamic looks like between you and the agency partners with whom you work.
Yeah, when we say our clients are brands, it means that our platform is for branding. It's for advertisers that want to reach a lot of people. They care about context, they care about measuring persuasion, and they care about brand safety. And so often we're dealing with the brand's media agency. So media agencies become the proxy for the brand, or the media agency's trading desk in the case of Viviki. Now, the initial incarnation of tools like ours, they were called demand-side platforms that plugged into open exchanges. So imagine you're a publisher, you've got this valuable asset. You're probably ambivalent about putting your inventory into an open exchange. The same way that a brand's ambivalent about putting their brand next to, in a questionable environment. So there's a growing amount of what I'd call the good stuff in open exchanges and spot exchanges here, and there's definitely a good amount of the good stuff in their exchange. But to access a lot of the most premium inventory, you have to set up what's called a private marketplace, private exchange. It sounds complicated, it's not. All it means is that someone like Viviki is going to identify a set of publishers that they buy from frequently, and they're going to say, you know what, instead of issuing IOs and doing planning the old school way, where it's just slow, we're just going to connect into their ad server and make that inventory available via our buying platform. So now we can do holistic buying and frequency capping and reporting across our entire buy, not just the remnant or the reach or the DSP part of the buy.
Okay, so I want to take a layman's active listening back to you, right? Because what I'm hearing from you is that the value of private marketplaces in the ecosystem today is that, one, it allows publishers to move from a direct sales to some type of programmatic sales solution or platform without compromise, without sort of bargain basement erosion of their CPMs, right? But on the other side of it, I'm also hearing that it affords the opportunity, because what you're doing is taking a disaggregated ecosystem that is sold mostly direct of premium and aggregating it, thereby making it more valuable.
From a publisher's perspective, your website, you've got X number of impressions. You used to have kind of two tiers. You had your premium tier, that would be your direct sales force, and they'd sell $15 to $30 CPMs. And then you'd have this bottom of the pyramid, $4 or $5 you're selling to ad networks. What private marketplaces do is the sales force of the publisher, they're still dealing with Kurt and his team. They still own the relationship. The Viviki still gets to leverage its buying power. So they're not saying, I'm going to let you bid on every single impression. They agree on a price, but then they just onboard the inventory into software. So it creates this another kind of level of pricing for a publisher that's above remnant. And for publishers, it can be a great thing because they can reduce their sales costs. They learn a lot. They see who's buying, and this is why you're seeing a lot more inventory become available, because it is working for publishers. So
where does RTB fit in all this?
RTB is a mechanism. So RTB is simply buying inventory via an auction basis. It's a very powerful tool because you get to see what you're buying. There's a lot that goes on. Imagine an ad's about to load, and we get to evaluate who the user is, what the website is, and we get to decide whether or not we want the person. Not all programmatic is RTB. Some of it is. A lot of programmatic is direct sold, which is the way TV is bought, and it works really well, where we're not bidding, but we're automating. So RTB is kind of a tool set within programmatic.
And this is what I think is really interesting from the publisher side of the business right now. And I look at my client portfolio, and the conversations I'm having with my clients, who are typically publishers, are: is your competitive advantage in content, or is it in technology?